Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is shadowzz and welcome back to another tutorial. And today I'm going to be doing a layer style tutorial, and I'm also going to be showing you guys how to do the 3D text, which has been requested a lot. And first off, I would just like to apologize for this tutorial not being up in the first place. It's been like almost 2 months, and I really do apologize because I really wanted to make this tutorial, but I just never had the time because I constantly have orders to work on, then I'm also working on projects here and there, so I just never had time to actually get on and do it. And I'm not planning on making any other tutorials as of now unless this video will reach 1,000 likes. And that is a big amount of likes, and if we can even get anywhere close to that, that would be totally insane, because my most liked video has around 500-600 likes, which is the previous tutorial, and I didn't expect it to be that successful. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and now let's finally get on to the tutorial. Alright, so first of all, what you want to do is basically just create a new layer. I just made this, I just have this background on here just so you have something to work on, I guess. So let's just pretend we're making a banner, and the layer styles apply to anything in the world you can think of in Photoshop. Alright, so we want to make a text, Ctrl T to resize it, we want to make it bigger. And now if we click on this little tab over here, you might have it differently because it's like, it depends on your Photoshop layout. And let's just choose a nice font. So I want to go for something kind of blocky and simple. I don't want to go for anything crazy. I have good font actually. That's a decent font to work on. Alright. So there you go. So now you have simple text, and here you have some options. This option basically stretches out like this. It has bigger space between each letter, so if you want to like make some like simple and professional text, like this is a really way to do it. So like you would have like a longer text underneath that would be smaller. So if I just show you guys real quick, so if I just put this back to 100 and then make this text really small, and then just type some random stuff, and there you go, you can do something like that. Also here we have the resize thing, but I don't usually use it, I just use Ctrl T, it's just my way of doing it, but that is just personal preference. And then you have some more options over here if you want to stretch it out. I don't really see why you do that unless you have a font that looks kind of like this, then I would understand why you would like to do that. And over here we have, it just seems to move up. I never use this stuff anyway. Yeah, over here we have some of the here you have the italics. Then if you want to make the font bold, then don't know what this does. This makes it smaller, so if you're using like, I don't know, if you're writing up some like science stuff, I don't know, you can use that. Then it's the same. Then if you want to underline, and if you want to have a cross in the middle of it. But yeah, I usually don't do this stuff anyway, I just use this and the size, and that's pretty much it. Alright, anyway, so now let's get on with the actual layer styles. So over here, as you see in my tab, I have some of my styles. This is not updated because I should have moved some of my layer styles from my layer style pack, but I can be never asked to do that because I always do my layer styles anyway. So this is the easy way of doing it, just click on the style and there you go, and that's the text done for you. But today I'm going to be showing you how to make it yourself and make it look absolutely epic. So this is my way of doing it, other people have different styles and everything, so this is a mess, isn't it? Can I just like reset it all? I mean, I guess I'll just delete some. Photoshop CC 2015 doesn't let me get rid of those. Anyway, so first off, I always start with a gradient overlay. Let me just reset to default. So you should have something like this. And just make this. Let me make it smaller so you guys can see better. Alright, so I always start with a gradient overlay, and I just choose the color I usually do, and I do have some presets saved, but I'm not going to be using any of those. I'm just going to do it manually. So I just always choose like a white and then like a color, so we can do orange. Yeah, I'm gonna do orange, and I'm gonna click reverse so the white is on top and the orange is on the bottom. And now I want to add another gradient overlay, set it to overlay mode, and now we can do some of those, which was pretty cool. As you see, if I use some of those, they add like cool effects to the text. Like I said, I'm gonna do it from scratch again, just to show you guys. So I'm gonna do like a gray here and a gray here, and then I'm gonna sample this, so left click on it, then right click, and it's gonna like duplicate the color. I'm gonna do those little things. There you go. And then I want to have like a lighter color here, and maybe a bit darker at the end. Alright, and now you want to click new. You want to name it, so I'm gonna name it tutorial for the sake of the video. Click new, and it's gonna add it to my presets. And as you see, I have a lot of those presets downloaded and made, so it's pretty handy for me. I don't really need to do those. I just kind of choose the one I feel like using and the one that looks cool. So yeah, now we have the presets saved, so we want to hit OK. And then we want to go to Inner Glow, and I pretty much use Inner Glow every single time, and you should start with something like this. So you want to go to overlay mode, put the opacity up to 100 at first, and just play around with the size. Sorry, my phone just went off. Not a great time. Alright, so now as you see, it adds basically an inner glow, and it looks really cool. So you have like a background with the sun. It adds a really nice effect to it. So you don't want to go too much, because then it's just kind of going to cover the whole text and it doesn't look cool. So I'll just put it on 20 because it looks quite good. And if it's too bright or it's too much, you can always turn down the opacity then. So I'll put it on 75. There you go. And then you just have a few options here, so source, center, source, edge, but I usually don't do any of that stuff. Then you got the quality. It doesn't really make much difference. You can play around with those settings. It just makes it, well, you see what it does. It's hard to even explain sometimes. Alright, so that's Inner Glow done. And then next we can go to satin, and this is just really simple. I just usually put it up to like 5 or something, just so, yeah, it barely adds any difference, but it looks cool. And it just makes the text look overall just a tidbit slightly better. So now we're gonna do the bevel and emboss, and for this there's a lot you can do. There's so much you can do, it's quite insane and incredible. So I usually don't do this, but when I do, I usually put up the depth to 1000, and I put up the size to like 60, and then I put it to like overlay or something. And this is hard to explain. I mean, you just have to play around with it because there is a lot you can do. So as you see, if I go back to my original settings, you can go like this. You can uncheck global light and put it to 90 and leave this at 30. Anti-alias doesn't make a difference, to be honest. But then you have all this stuff, gloss, contour. I usually don't play around with this, but if you want to go more advanced, you can, because it has some pretty cool effects, as you see. And for the sake of the video, I'm actually gonna stick with this one. it does add like a little gloss on the edges. You can add contour, mess around with this, doesn't do much though. But I'm gonna add it because it does actually look quite cool. And now textures. So this is pretty much just like the pattern overlay, which just renamed, and I think it works just a little bit differently. I'm not sure. It's actually pretty much the same. So I'm gonna add a little pattern, and I got a lot of patterns downloaded. You can find them on if you just look them up, you can find them. So I downloaded a few Minecraft ones and stuff. And this does really like enhance your layer styles, but you don't want to be always using like patterns and everything on it. Let's see if there's anything we can do with this. I think the patterns on this are black and white. Yeah, it looks like they are. So the difference between textures and pattern overlay, it's that this one actually has colors and stuff. But when you put gradient overlay, it's gonna cover up the pattern overlay. So, and you think if I put this to overlay, there you go. Now you see the patterns. So, talking about patterns, let me just choose one. So I'm gonna choose this Minecraft grass block. I'm just gonna resize it so the grass is on top. I'm gonna snap it to origin and it should fix it for me. There you go, it does. And that's pretty good. Right, now there's outer glow, which I usually use, but because mostly I do 3D text, I don't use it because when I duplicate the layers, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll understand when I show you the 3D text bit. Basically it makes it way too bright, so I don't use it until all the way to the end, and I'll show you this guys right now. And so yeah, now we don't need the texture anymore. Stroke, pretty standard stuff. Put it on the outside. I usually don't do outlines or strokes. I don't think they look that great with the with my like style of banners and everything. But as you see, if you're not working on Minecraft or anything, this can give you some pretty cool effects. So now we pretty much just hit OK, because that's it. We've pretty much done. So yeah, now if we go back to 100, well, I don't really like that. I'm just gonna keep it like that because it looks quite cool, to be honest. Alright, so now when we do in the 3D, let me rephrase myself. Now I'm gonna be showing you guys the 3D bit, and first off, what you want to do is rasterize the layer style. And when you do that, oh my bad, rasterize layer style, that's it. When you do that, as you see, you can't change the text or you can't change anything you've done to the layer style, and that is because you rasterize it. So you want to make sure your text is done, or just make a backup copy. So Ctrl J to duplicate it, and then just apply the settings, just put it here. So let's say if you rasterized it and then you did something like this, but oh crap, and then if you did something, well, that did not work. So if you did something like this and then you don't like it, and let's say you can't go back, then you can just get rid of it, and then you have another copy here. So there you go. I'm gonna make a backup again, rasterize this, and now I'm gonna show you guys the perspective tools on here and the warps actually before I do the 3D bit, because the 3D bit is all the way at the end, because after you want to make some changes to the text, you can't really do much and it's a pain. So first of all, I'm gonna show you guys perspective. So perspective is pretty much really basic. You just move the corners left to right and it's gonna give it a cool perspective. You don't want to go too far because it kind of distorts the text a little bit. So if I would just go 13.7, and if you do the bottom ones, it does the same, but from the bottom. And then you have those if you want to bring it up or down, but I don't want to do that because I want to keep the text look clean and symmetrical. Alright, so there you go. Now we also have distort, which is, it works a similar way to perspective, but it's harder to handle and control. Like, to this day I don't really know how to use it perfectly, but it does give you pretty like cool perspective. And if, let's say, you have a text and you want to like stick it on like a building on a photo, you can use it. You can do that using the distort and perspective tool. And I did that a few times. Now and again. So now I'm gonna be showing you guys how to do the warp, which is a pretty handy thing to do. So as you see, I right clicked and click warp, and now you have this. And now you don't really want to move around like that, because as you see, completely destroys the text, and it's not really handy if you want to keep it clean. So what you actually do is you choose one of the presets which you have over here. So you have arc, which is self-explanatory. You have arc lower, arc upper, then you have all those. Bulge is a pretty cool one. If you go the other way around, it's gonna give like a cool effect, which I might keep actually, but I'll just put it up a bit less, just a tiny bit. There you go. So it doesn't make much difference, but that little difference is just nice. So now we have other ones like fish. We're not going to be using those, I'm just showing you guys for the sake of it. But you get the point. You have tons of presets and then you can choose them, but you can also do the manual one, don't get me wrong. So you can do this, or like that. And it does create some cool stuff, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep it simple like this. So now this is the bit where we do the 3D text. And this is actually quite simple. There's a few ways of making 3D text effects. Well, because this is an effect, it's not really like actual 3D text, but you make it look somewhat 3D. So basically what you do is you make sure you're on a text layer, hold Alt GR, so you just hold Alt, and then click up on the arrow. So what you just did, you duplicated the text and move it up just a tiny bit. So now if I just spam it up, I just made 17 copies. Hang on, I'll go make another 3. So now I have 20 copies of the text. So you want to keep the top, the latest copy, so copy 20. You want to keep this and then highlight all the other ones. So I did that by clicking at 19, then hold shift and then clicked on the last one, and then click Ctrl E, and it's going to merge all the layers together. And now this is a cool bit. You want to hit Ctrl U, you just bring down the darkness a little bit, like so. You can do the easy way, just like bring it down a bit more, and that's it. But to add more detail, I'm gonna be putting on -55, and then I'm gonna hold Control and click on the small picture of the layer. You can also do this by right clicking, then select pixels. Now you want to go to your brush tool, so you click B or just choose it from your thing. Make sure you have black selected, put the opacity to 60 somewhat, and just paint in like the bottom of the text more, so it gives like a gradient, so the bottom is darker than the top. And I think this looks like cooler. And then if it's still a bit too bright, you can just bring it down further. And that's pretty much 3D text done. That is the one way of doing it. And then you have the second way of doing it. This is a way I found out quite recently, to be honest. You hit Ctrl T on the layer, on the text, then where it says height 100, make sure this is linked, and just put it on 99. 101, yeah, enter. There you go. I did it right now. So it's actually not 99, it's 101. I just found out something. Well, there you go. And then just bring out the darkness, bring out the lightness. And there you go. That's another way of doing the 3D text, which is pretty cool, I guess. But I like this way more. So, now I'm just gonna show you guys a few extra things I do to my text when I'm pretty much done with the layer styles and everything. Just a few bonuses. I usually merge them together, but I want to show you guys the outer glow, which I didn't show you earlier. So if you put it on overlay mode, put up the size like 50 or something, bring down the opacity, and just put it to like orange. There you go. Then it does have like a little outer glow on it, but we don't really need to do this. So yeah, I just duplicate the text, merge the text, sorry, and create a new layer. Go to your brush tool and then click the sample the color, so like, or just choose the color you want. I'm just gonna sample it for more accurate measurement. And now I just kind of just paint in on the text, and then I can put the blending mode on screen, and it gives it a like a cool glowing effect to it. So you can bring down the opacity a little bit, and I usually do that, but I make it really subtle. And well, there you go. As you see, if I just quickly just make a fill, this is how it looks like on a black background. So you see, I'm gonna make it really subtle, and it does make a slight difference. So there you go. That's pretty much how I do my text. There's probably a few things I missed out, and there is things you can also do with the text in the filter gallery, but that's just a bit too much for now. I would say that that's for another tutorial, even though I'm not really planning on making other tutorials, and unless this gets like insane support. So that's pretty much it for this tutorial. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I apologize for the quality of my commentary skills, they're kind of crap. But yeah, like I said, if you guys enjoyed, leave a like, it really does help me out a ton. And yeah, I hope you guys know how to make better text now, and thanks for watching, and as always, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.